goody to any and everybody who may be listening. Now, I'm going to be giving you an example of this ritual abuse that I had to endure in my early childhood, thanks to Sharita Doja. Now, this lady used to force me to tell me that I love her. Even though there was no way that I could have possibly loved her after everything that she had done to me, from the dropping me off down at Alonzo's house, which is my ex-father, while he was molesting me as I was still in diapers, okay, and biting. Now, I done said this before. I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say what he was biting, but he was biting on something that he ain't had no business biting on. Okay, very diabolical. After this, it was the molestations by my uncles, my ex uncles. Prince, Mac, Herbert, and there was a couple of other ones. Okay. And then there were the government's programs that she put me into, where these individuals inside of this program, I was being passed around to a bunch of old white men. Okay, now let's go ahead and call our energy back. Let's call our light sparks and our fragments back from this. I decree and declare that any and all of my light sparks and soul fragments that got caught up within the midst of being in these government programs and passed around to these white men are released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Now, after this, Sharita would always, because I was feminine. Of course I was feminine anyway, because of who I am on a soul level. But after this, Sharita would always try to beat the gay out of me. And if she seen me with my wristband, she would always pop me in the hand. Now, the hand that she would pop me in is a very important hand, because this is where a lot of my magic is stored, within that hand. Now, let's go ahead and do some decrees and declarations surrounding this hand. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, light sparks, and soul fragments that got caught up in the midst of Sharita trying to beat the gay out of me that was put into me by her anyway, and popping me in my hand, are released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay, so aside from this, all of that, the programs and all of the molestations, which to me is out of this world, she would force me to tell her that I loved her, even though at that time I could not have possibly loved her with that memory, because the memories was still there to some degree in early life. I remembered her dropping me off down at Alonzo's house. I remembered that ritual with all of my ex-uncles down in that dungeon. I also remembered the programs and the white men to a certain degree, okay, until that all faded. But while the memory was still there, she would force me to tell me that I loved her. She would say, "I love you," I cannot describe to you the icky feeling that I felt every time she would tell me that she loved me. It was very icky and nasty and disgusting. Okay? Now, when I didn't say it back to her, she would force me to say it. Now, I'm going to have to call back my energy and my light sparks from this because this was traumatic. I decree and declare that all of my energy, light sparks, any and all of my soul fragments that got caught up within the midst of being forced to tell Sharita, someone who was supposed to be a mother after she had me molested and things of this nature, be released, removed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay? I gotta say though, it's astonishing to me how so many people who I grew up with who were bullies or who did me any old type of way were attached to my heart in that way. Okay? When I really did not love any of these people. How could I? Okay? The only one that I could have possibly loved as those memories started to fade away, okay, and there was no trace of them left. I did begin to quote love, but that was not love. It was something else. It was dark magic. I did start it. She grew on me. Sharita started to grow on me in my later years. I would say later teens. In my later teens is when she really started to grow on me. Going into my 20s. Okay, we're gonna have to call all of that energy back that I expelled, telling this lady that I loved her when I didn't. Okay. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, light sparks, and soul fragments that got caught up within the midst of Sharita having to tell her that I loved her when I didn't at that time, that took a lot of energy. That feeling of disgust, it was a lot. Okay, and she was doing it every day. Be released, removed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay? Now there's also one more thing that we need to address. Because after all of this and the memories faded away, she would always ask me, when she would see me with my wristband or see me feminine or whatever, is anybody molesting you? She would try to use reverse psychology on me, okay, asking me, is anybody molesting me, when she know damn well these motherfuckers was molesting me, okay, and she was the one who put me up to be molested. Sharita, okay? I'm gonna have to call my light sparks back from that because that was crazy. I decree and declare that any and all of my light sparks and soul fragments, all of my energy that got caught up or lost within the midst of Sharita asking me if I had been molested when she knew damn well that I was being molested on a regular basis. Released, removed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child, which there is only one. There can only be one, and it's not the mother, the father. It's in one body. That's my body, and it's known as the Trinity, baby. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.